The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening to all. I hope everybody's had a good day today. I wouldn't mind if some of you can just acknowledge that you are receiving this broadcast, as in the volume. I had, unfortunately, about a half an hour ago, the Citrix system go down for some strange reason. So it would be nice if you can give me a thumbs up or heads up here. It'll be great. All good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody's fine. Fantastic. Now, I do have to apologise. Unfortunately, in the last webinar, we had to cancel at the last minute. Literally, I had a problem, and it wasn't Citrix that time. It was purely my own computer. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it going, and it's taken a little bit of time to get it going. In fact, and then restore all my work that I've done in the past. So I do apologise for that. However, let's move on from that and go from here. I've had the disclaimer up for a little bit now, so I hope everybody remembers. Basically, this is a general investment presentation, not personal advice. So if anyone is looking for personal advice, you must seek that advice from your personal financial advisor. As you can see from the Word document that I got up at the moment, I am licensed under General Mortgage and General Investment Advisors. You can see their license number there. You can see my General Investments FSL number also there. So if anyone's got any questions, you can just let us know, and I'm happy to answer them. Now, I've also had in the last two webinars, someone typing comments, why can't I give general investment advice? Look, I can't, because based on this webinar, the way I run the webinars, I don't know your personal circumstance. Now, I'm more than happy if somebody wants me to put you onto Mortgage in General and one of their financial advisors to give you a call. I'd be more than happy to do so. Just basically email us what you want to know, and I'll pass that email and any phone number you might have, and they can give you a ring. Okay, we'll move on from there. We'll start off as usual. We're going to look at the Dow Jones first. We'll look at the S&P gold. Then we go into the our own stuff, the XJO and stocks. And I've got a request to do the Aussie dollar against the US dollar. I do that normally anyway, but I've also been asked if I can do Euro Aussie dollar. So I'll do that. If anyone, based on time, wants anything in addition, just type it up and we'll go from there. Okay, let's start now. I'll just switch over to the Phoenix application. Just switching over. There we are. Okay, we got the Dow up and running here. Sorry, somebody just made a comment. I cannot see screen. It is normal. Please analyze. Okay, someone's just put a request to do a couple of more there. I'll have a look at those. I do have some of those already up, so we'll see how we go. Now, looking at the Dow, again, I mean, what can we say? You can see at the bottom, again, just look at that, right at the bottom, and the red on the top. It's a huge, broad information, as we can see broken above it. But what's critical still is it's still in that rising wedge. Okay, now we can see it. I'll just extend those lines. Let me just get that to extend them. Okay, as we can see, it's pretty much borderline. I can actually finesse that a little bit. You may always keep your lines up to date. So we can see that there, touch just that there. Just get a bit closer. Whoops, about there. I think there, it's literally the low, as you can see, is right on the line. So let me zoom in. This maybe a little bit might help a bit better. Okay, here it is there. As we can see, it's literally on the line there. Okay, so what the monthly is telling us, at least at this point, that look, it's still inside that rising wedge. Okay, now if that breaks strongly below, I would expect actually probably a bit of a sharp fall, then most likely a retest if that happens. So the way things are going, not the best at the moment around the world, is it? So but I wouldn't be trading this to the upside. That's the monthly. That's all it can give us. But going to a weekly, let's have a look at this. Let me just squash it up a little bit so we can see where we're looking at from. You can see originally it had broken. This is the shorter range of the weekly, okay? And what we've got is we set this consolidation. It depends which way it breaks, down or up. Now, originally, and let me zoom into this area so we can actually see it a bit more clearly. And scroll out, take auto size off so we can see it a bit better. There we are there. Now, what we tend to see here, last time we drawn this line across, and we can see as a pattern what we're really looking at is an ascending triangle. You can see this is going up, that's going across. Now, we saw that break below, and in fact, let me just re-extend those lines again. And what we see here, it broke, it came below, and retesting. Okay, now, right now, regardless, whatever way we take this, we see major consolidation. So what we have to respect is this is there, that goes all the way across. Okay, and of course we got this one here too. It goes all the way. So what we've got is really consolidation here. This might be a bearish flag. It's not really clean to confirm. This week's going to be over tonight and a new one starts, so you might find it'll go up like so. Okay, but it's hard to call as yet. It's not really clean. If this tail was a bit higher and we can take it across, it'd be a different story. But it is not clean yet. Okay. However, it has broken and it looks like a retest. Now, even if it broke below, you can see the distance from the high here to the high there as a flagpole is not really the best. So it's not clean, as I say. But we have to say it has broken below, but it is still consolidating. If we look at this line, and we can take this, if you want to be a bit pedantic, we can take it closer because it's still within the tails here. We haven't cut any bodies. We can see it could be a very, very tight consolidation space. So again, the Dow sort of leaves us, at least on the weekly, watch it and see. We can't make major decisions here, okay? So it is consolidating, but it's not something that I would be trading, at least for now, till the upside. For me to trade this to the upside, seriously, I'd want to be above all this consolidation, clearly above. Then I know this is going to new territory to the upside. To me, this is really sideways to down. All right, so not very confident in it. Let's go to the daily. This is what we've done, that line that we drew last time. We can, again, take it even from the low. We can take it from here, and we can finesse this to the point where we can say, you know what? Oops, sorry, I moved it at the moment. So you can see it's not the cleanest, but looking at that, you can see this is your retest, okay? If we just clean this up a little bit and put a straight line right across, and see, that's where it's not really the best. But what you can say is this: if you want to, this is still considered a huge consolidation point, okay? Now, you can draw the line also below. That's what we were doing before. So that's what we were looking at the weekly, basically. So it is still major consolidation. You can even take this line even further. And that's pretty much what we're looking at on the weekly. So as you can see, this is really just consolidation still. There really is no decision here. So just wait and see. Okay. So there's not much we can do on the daily than what we've done already. Okay. Next one we can look at is S&P 500. Actually, it's just down here. No, dot X GMK. Oops. Oh, what have I done? Sorry about that. Just blunder it. .inx. And be nice if we put the I. Oh, what am I doing? .gmk. Oh. Just 1 second. Let me just go to that. S&P 500. Just looking at my sheets here. Sorry about it. Forward slash. There we go. Okay. Again, on the monthly, we can see a real big rising wedge. Okay. We still are within this rising wedge, again, telling us just wait and see, don't make any decisions. So I would be leaving it alone on a monthly. On the weekly, a little different story here, isn't it? Eh? So what we can see on the weekly, it clearly has broken this part, which is the shorter part of a rising wedge, and we can see a retest in this area. So it's actually broken below, but at the same time, like the Dow, what we're really looking at is a consolidation phase. Okay. Again, indecision. I cannot stress that enough. Indecision. This might end up going for a while, and another pattern can occur. Again, it'll be only a very short term down. This high here, which I better zoom in to show you a little bit better. As we can see, with a high, we can see that's almost not far from that high. So you can't really use it as a flag. There's no real pole. What you're really looking at, again, is just simple consolidation. Nothing else, just simple consolidation. Okay, let's go to, just 1 second. I just need, while I put this up, I need just to read something, a comment here. Okay, someone said, if I'm planning to have any live seminars, I've forgotten most of what I had learned previously after your long absence. Oh, I'm sorry about that. No, I must apologise. I don't have any plans to have any live seminars at this point in time. Look, I might do something further down the track, just for the odd assistance if I'm in the area. But at the moment, I really don't have any plans for any seminars in the short term, at least, anyway. So anyway, let's move on. Hopefully, what you can pick up is pretty much of these webinars. If you just go in the past ones, I try to explain what I'm doing at the same time, so that should get the benefit. So okay, it's like what we're looking at here. We can see we were trying to develop here possibly into a small, like a rising wedge, but rising wedges are generally major reversal patterns. They're not really for daily type data, okay, as an example. So it's not advisable to use it. Yes, they can respond sometimes near the same way, but you cannot treat them as major reversal patterns. Major reversal patterns are usually on the big ones, your monthlies and your weeklies. Okay, so again, what you're looking at, this is pretty close to the Dow. At the same time, look, you got these consolidation points there. You got pretty close to that. Again, the other ones here, and of course you got the bigger one down here. So again, in this scenario, it's like the Dow Jones. There really is a lot of indecision at the moment. So it's best, again, unless you're trading extremely short term, like intraday, I'd be leaving this alone. Now, how individual stocks may look could be totally different, of course. But if you're talking about these indices, if I was trading it, I wouldn't be. I'd be just taking a seat back and waiting to see when he gives us some real direction, basically. Okay. That's pretty much the S&P 500. I'll do gold next. Oh, I would have .gmk, but anyway, xau.gmk. Should be the equal sign. Apologies. Just getting the data. That's because of my rebuild before. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit longer. Okay, again, monthly. Look at that. Now, as we can see, it really, monthly, of course, rarely changes that much. It's only one, every 4 weeks, one bar. And we can see it's still part of this potential mare's tail. I will use the word potential, okay? But at the same time, it's in with this triangle. And of course, it is also inside this channel. It's such a hard thing to call. It really is. So you're inside 3 patterns. You've went outside this huge broadening formation, broke below, retested it, and again, it's inside these lines that's, again, indecision. So let's go to a weekly. Okay, what do we see here? Again, you can see that when above this line, but the truth is, remember, if you look at one of the past videos, we said, look, we're not quite sure how to treat it exactly because it's all correct. It doesn't matter where you take it, even just there. And you can see here now, when we take it, put it on the low, to the low, come across, what we see here is a retest. So that's how it really fits right now. We weren't sure exactly how it fit. We tried to look at it in a couple of different ways. We left the line on there, but you must always finesse that line. Okay, so I deliberately, when I do a webinar, I leave the lines as we left it in the previous webinar. I don't alter it in between. I have another program that I actually play with what I want to do. But every webinar is exactly as we left it in the past, in case we recall it and have to have a look what's going on. But in saying that now, as you can see, it broke below that. We were looking at a potential flag, started to go, and remember what we said in flags. Yes, this was not bad. It broke to the positive, but if it's going to fail, remember what we say with all flags. If they fail, they'll always fail at the top of the flagpole, being on the upside. Again, if it's a bearish, at the bottom lowest point of the flagpole. Okay, so, and again, sure enough, that's where it failed. It reversed, and we are still inside this channel. We had a small trend line. It looked nicer on the weekly when we look at it. It broke below, retested it, and again, it's still sitting and hovering in this area. What we're really looking at, if this is going to go much lower, what you've got to really look at is here. Really, it's got to go below this point, and yes, then we can expect potentially this going to the lower ends of this. If we were to trade it, that's what I'd be looking at. I would want it below here so I can say, okay, this is what I can potentially trade to the downside. There really isn't anything else to it. Just, it is what it is. It's been really more of a sideways market than anything else, as we can see, when it comes to list to the Dow, S&P, and gold. Looking at daily, we can actually see that on the daily, what we've just drawn also. Okay, and let's get that. And as we can see here, we can see that there's your retest as we've drawn before, and that's where we are. So that just pretty much just reinforces to what we said just before. It really, in saying that also, if we were to say what else can we do to this chart, well, again, you can take the line from here, you can take the line from there. Again, we can choose a point for now, and we'll see if we can actually do any more later. What we can also do is from this low, we can go to that low, and you can see how that joins to the other low. So if this was to trade on the downside further, hopefully we can get maybe a little bearish flag here so we can target down, but the brick wall is going to be down here, by the way. And the next one after that is down to this area and so forth. So we really don't have much again. It's consolidation, and the consolidations are getting tighter and tighter. That's basically what it's looking at. Excuse me. So moving on from there. Okay, and we'll start off with the ASX 200 index, the XJO. Okay, as we had left it last time, we said potentially, is this a bullish flag before this one came in, if you remember? I said we don't know, we can't target up. If it does, and we target it up, this would have been the brick wall. As you can see, it actually failed. So this is obviously not a bullish flag. So we remove it. At the moment, this was the previous high here at this point before it was broken. This had broken below this, which would have been support, but this month is not over yet. So if this closes above this line at the end of this month, then we will have nice strong support. Can we say then, potentially, it'll be like so, can this be a bullish flag overall? Let's clone. Would it do it? And down to here. Well, potentially can. We don't know yet. So we can draw the lines like so at this point in time. We do have this accelerated trend going pretty tight here, and I'd say that's where it stopped, just here. If this maintains and goes up, we'll see higher prices down to here. If not, this breaks, we're going to see lower prices to that. Now that's what you call hedging your bet, folks. But at the end of the day, we trade what we see. We need a clean break. What we've been saying, this is getting tight, and yes, this is still looking as a potential flag. Now the truth is, we might end up changing this line like so. I've got to see that. And then I'll remove that line to make it, technically I'm just trying to show you that these lines can be finessed, whichever makes them looks the cleanest, look. And as you can see, it still looks pretty good, okay? So we have to really, again, sounds horrible, wait and see, okay? If it clearly breaks below and closes below here, then we start looking down to this area here. If it now consolidates here, new week starts, tomorrow's the last day of the week. But what do we got? How many days in this month? Let me have a look. What do we got? 30 days. So we basically, next Tuesday is going to be the last day of the month. Okay. So next Tuesday, the last day of the month. And then if we do get a reversal, whatever it might occur, then we might see upside to back to around the 60, up to 6,200 mark. Now, we are still at the, what about 55 something mark, or just below, might be just below 56. So again, no decisions based on the XJO. We really got to wait. Now this is monthly. Let's have a look at the weekly. Now, this is also interesting. Potentially we can see a potential bullish on the monthly. However, what do we see on the potential on the daily? Doesn't it give you the wellies? A potential bearish. Okay, potential bearish. So what do? You can't really do much here, can you? What we did say on our last webinar that we did about a month ago, that was breaking, and we said, remember, two places and this could fail at the time. Back to this previous low or brick wall on this, because this is a rising wedge, folks, okay? This is still considered a rising wedge. It's an accelerated rising wedge because there's a bigger one on the monthly. However, it's still a rising wedge. You can see stop right on the rising wedge. So where can it fail? Normally I would say it can fail right at the bottom of here. But the fact is, it can also fail right on this line. Now, tomorrow is the last day of the week. So if this holds, we'll have to see what happens next week, because what we got is on a weekly, potentially, it can go a lot lower. And again, if it goes lower, realistically, I mean, obviously I can see it slowing down here, but then this is the next level down here. And where it goes from there, anyone can guess. So bullish on the monthly, potentially, and bearish on the weekly. If it does turn around, it comes down to around here and turns around, yes, you can see if it stays inside this rising wedge, yes, we can, even this confirms up to 6,200 for a next high. So interesting times we are. We are really what I call at crossroads. Even if it goes up, okay, even if it goes up, you know, yeah, it can go high, might make a new high here, but whatever happens, upsides now are limited compared to what they were, okay? They really are. Because if you look where the Dow is and everything else, you know, if I was a betting man, you know, overall I have to bet it's going to go down, not up. I would be very surprised if it actually goes gangbusters to the Dow to new highs and beyond. I'd be very, very surprised. I haven't seen that. I know I've heard someone looking at charts going back to the 1800s and something similar has occurred before, and that's going to go, I don't know, to new highs. You know, I heard of all that before too, and it also has failed many times before. The truth of the matter is, I'm a technician, but if you look at world fundamentals, how many times earnings are stocks trading at? All right, just do simple sums. I mean, yeah, you know, we've seen them from, you know, lows of 8 times earnings, even 7 times earnings, highs at 15, 16, even 17 times earnings. But a lot of the stocks, as I understand, in the US especially, are already at between 15 and 17, and some even 20 and 30 and 40. So I honestly don't know. I'm not personal advice here, but I would tread water very carefully. All right. Rising wedges tend to be reversal patterns. The cleaner the rising wedge, the more odds are it will basically fulfill its obligation. Again, not personal advice. So here, like I said, looking at this, bearish on the weekly, bullish on the daily. But we are at the bottom of the rising wedge too. So trade what you see, not what you think. This is telling me if to go up, I want to see confirmation. To break down, I want to see it below here. And if it comes down, we probably expect a bit of a retest before it does any further down anyway. That's usually the norm, I have to say. Usually. Not always, but usually. Okay, going to daily. What we can do is probably try to get a channel going here. Okay, put it around there. That's pretty close. It's still considered in clone. This one. Yep. As you can see, looking at it on that perspective, it really is at the top end of the channel and tends to demonstrate should go lower. Now, for all we know, it could come down to about here and then rocket the other way. So anything's possible. Don't get me wrong from that perspective. But I have to point out it's a time you need to trade what you see, not what you think again. You want to see direction. You want to see confirmation. If you can get a price projection on a weekly and it confirms it, the weekly will give you a decent run for overall. So that's why I say trade what you see, not what you think. There's really not a great deal to add to this. You are inside a channel. Let's have a look at just maybe. You might see from here previous support also, but there's nothing else I can really add to this that I can see at this point. So that's about it on the XJO. Okay, next one. Just tick them off my list here as I'm going along. ANZ. Sorry, just reading some more comments. Let me just make a note in some of these. Some people are making some requests. Hey, folks, I've got to tell you, you've got to give me these symbols well and truly in advance, not at the last minute. I'll try to do my best because I do try to keep to a schedule as close as I can. And go from there. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, I'll try to do things a little bit quicker now. There's a few more requests. Okay, ANZ, again on the monthly. See what we saw. We can, again, that's pretty close. You can see, look, it broke below, and we would have said, look, this rising wedge, it broke below, it's confirmed it. But remember, it's got to close below. And this is your monthly, and you can see it's back pretty much on the line or just above the line at the moment. Okay, so again, wait and see till the end of the month. Let's have a look at the weekly. There's nothing much we can really add to this. Let's go to the weekly. Pretty much confirming. So there's your dotted line. It's above it. It's back inside there. And also what we've shown at this point here, in fact, I can probably lower that a little bit even to the bodies, and we can see it's all gone back inside it. So, you know, the weekly, as we've put it here, wasn't the best, but the monthly still confirms it. We started to do a bit of a broad information, when above it, when below it, and actually it's gone above it. So this line really now becomes more obsolete, because if this closes above this, that's it. This line really is obsolete. So I will leave it in there for now, but primarily if this tomorrow's there or higher, I can delete this line altogether. It's useless. It doesn't serve a purpose. Okay, so this, what else can we add to this? Not a lot. There's your consolidation. If anything, if this becomes obsolete, what this becomes, basically after that, from here, you can add that, and that's your horn. Okay, if you remember what we discussed in last workshops, anyone, what we said is that a horn is basically, now this is weekly, usually signifies a top. Okay, they're usually at the occur at tops of trends, not at bottom or middle of trends. So yes, it can go higher, but primarily it's at tops of trends. So basically, this line is valid. However, like we said, this line could disappear if this closes for anywhere here or above, or just above this line. On the daily, doesn't give me very much. I really can't say anything on this one. Just trying to think if I can see something. No, I can't. There's no real pattern here. I can say, is there a flag or anything? Well, there's nothing. I really don't know. I just don't know what to say on that. Again, to sum it up, again, I would be looking to, maybe if I'm still in this, I'd be looking maybe to find the best exit position to get out. That's my honest opinion on it. But again, not personal advice. This is just general investment advice. They're getting pretty difficult now, aren't they? Usually when they get misses, usually the top. Hopefully it might go a touch higher. NAB, National Australia Bank, next. We were looking at this. Is this a potential bullish flag? The truth of the matter is, at the moment, the answer is absolutely no. And the reason is, see this line, this tail? It's near back to the bottom. If it was still up there, potentially yes. So that's certainly nothing there at the moment. You originally, remember, you hit the top of the targets down here. The targets have been met. And see, as a weekly, from the top to the top, taking it across, what we see is basically major resistance. And that's what we said last time. And if this is the up move, in fact, what you do have is an accelerated trend, obviously, from here. Okay, so what it did do, excuse me, it broke below and came back above. Again, with this particular line just here, just trying to line that up a little bit better. There it is there. Look, if it stays above, it's a little bit more of support, but I still see it more as a consolidation. And who knows what pattern it might even make a bearish flag going this way to go the other way. So looking at this, if it actually closes at this point, this particular candle, based on candlestick analysis, this really should have a bit more higher to go. If it closes around here or a little bit higher, that should have a bit more to go up, according to candlestick analysis. This is part of the Hondu methods. So that's the monthly, and going to the weekly. Really doesn't give you much at all. Bloody hell. Yeah. This is useless now. The only thing I can make out of this is your horn. That's the only thing I can see. Again, horns usually occur, as I keep pointing out, at tops of patterns. So yes, it can go up high, even as they can actually come back to even up to $37, or just under $37. But I'd be looking for opportunities if that happens to get the hell out of there personally. Actually, just tighten just to see a bit more data. 1 second. You know, if I was treating this, you know, if I didn't care about this little thing that it broke above that, it'd still give it a rising wedge. It's just that because it penetrated that, it's not the cleanest. I can't rely on this as a rising wedge. That's the only damn difference on this. But what I can point out here, this bit, and because this went lower than, well, it didn't quite go lower than the previous low, but it certainly has gone lower than any other previous lows just here. So we'll see how this goes. If it starts to if it goes a bit higher and starts to fail to the downside, I'd be watching it very, very carefully. I don't know what else to add to this, to be honest. And just extend it normal. Go to the daily. Again, I must say they are getting more difficult now. We might get lucky and get that little rally a bit higher. Hopefully this might be a bullish flag. Like I said, it can go a bit higher than that, what I can see. And because we also got this gap here, so hopefully we might rally into this gap, but I have to say if it does do that, I'd be getting the hell out of here. Okay, so hopefully that would do it. Let me have a look as a price target. The pole for this, you can see it closed this gap here. So technically I can go to there. Now, because I've taken the tail, remember to be in between your targets, if we've got a tail here and we've got a wick, like a candle, the wick on there, if I take the tail, I go to the highest body here, which is there. If I clicked on the body here, I would go to the top of the wick. And I'm only estimating the breaking point, okay? And there's your target. Now, if I took it aggressively, you can see I'll be right inside this. So odds are you probably will, obviously, if this rallies to the upside, I expect it to close this gap. But in saying that, like I said, think about it. If anything, banks are trying to squeeze more for customers to get increase in profits, and there's been a lot of things now. Basically, the banks are being criticized about. So I would be very careful at the moment. If anything, that means their price to earnings might be a bit more conservative to what it was in the past. So have a look at it. And you can find that on Phoenix, by the way. All you got to do, this is using the old Phoenix I'm using here. There is a new Phoenix you can have a look at, and it's basically symbol summary. Okay, so when I click on symbol summary, there's NAB. I can go to tick on it, and everybody can see that. And basically, what's my PE here? Price natural potential. Well, I haven't looked at this for a while. Look, it's rating 14.11, so it's 14 times earning. Now, at the higher end, you would have seen it around 16, 16 and a half. That's where the top of the price was, okay? Where we hit the top, 16, 16 and a half. Now, unless we're really expecting banks to have an increase in profit from the previous report, previous time they just reported, then, okay, even if they went a little bit higher, say, you shouldn't go much higher than before, okay? However, if they're expecting lower or maintaining profit, well, certainly one go to previous highs. Let's just use some common sense here, okay? So basically, price to earning right now is sitting, as we said, at 14.11. Its dividend yield is 5.75 based on that, okay? So the interesting thing here, its asset backing is $15.65. I just wonder how that is based on. So I can't comment on that. So let's have a look. Let's go back. I'll delete this particular one. Okay, and that was based on $34.65, which is pretty much where it is there, I suppose. It might be a touch lower. It's just based a little bit higher than that. Okay, so that's all you have. Just use some common sense. Personally, if it goes up to around $36 in this area here, I would take the money and walk away from it. Again, not personal advice. And we're really going very slow here, so I better move on a little bit, step the pace up, CDA. Okay, monthly. Again, as we can see with CBA, look, again, your rising wedge, okay? Again, you can see the reason I was a bit concerned about it is because it broke a bit above the top, but then back below. It broke below it, and you can see it opened there, went below, it's back above it. It sort of validates it, okay, in a way. Let me try to finesse if I can get something a little bit better. If I took that there, and see, this is the thing. No matter what I do, because of that high here, it really does not validate it. If it was lower here, it'd be laughing. Unfortunately, it's not clean. That's the problem here. That's where it really is. So again, in this section here, you really, very, very hard to call this a flag. They're not very clean, I have to say. They're not very clean patterns here. No, not clean. Can't use it as that. All we can see is basically bouncing back off this. As long as it stays against in here, this potentially can go higher. Let's go to a weekly. There's originally the weekly target. It broke below. And sure enough, but remember, what happened was it broke below and then actually didn't hit the target. Let me just have a look at the monthly again. Yep. Okay, I understand what happens there. It actually failed altogether. In fact, it really would have conned a few people because, look, usually, if anything, it stops right at this base here if it fails. It went a touch below that, got a quite a few people off guard on that one, I have to say. Let me have a look if there was any other lines here. That's the best that can be done. No. Well, that it basically gets rid of that one, that's for sure. That certainly was a bear trap, that one. What a bear trap, for those that are not sure, it's something that it gives you a pretty validated pattern and then just reverses on you. So it traps you in an area. That was a very good bear trap. Actually, there's nothing more on the weekly, is there? Slip. No. There's nothing there. Nothing on the weekly anymore. Let's have a look at the daily. So this is where we're looking at on the weekly. That's where we saw a potential down to this area here. And as we can see, you would have had time to, if you were in that trade on the weekly, using the daily, you can see it will reverse now. Because there's a lot of bars here, it's actually a pattern. So in other words, from there to the breakout, it actually hit its target as basically as an ascending triangle. In fact, just confirm the numbers on that. 18. Ooh. You really couldn't even use it as an ascending triangle, but it does work out on the target. I'll remove that one. And I'll remove that one now. And I'll extend that's not really valid still. There's only 2 touches, 3 touches. I'll take it from the top again. That's better. 3 touches. Okay, so what we've got is from the top, we are cutting through there, touching there, and just barely just on touching there, and that's where it is there at the moment. So that's more valid than what we were doing before. Now, we can click that. I'll just remove that also. 1 second. We don't know if this is what we'll do here. If this is going to be, no, I can't draw it yet. Look, again, with this here, we're going to have to wait to see what it's going to do. It's left a gap here. So I'm betting it's going to come and close it. What it did do here, it actually closed this gap. Okay, so if you look where that is, that's what it's done. It's come and closed the gap itself here. So I would be just waiting to see, again, if it's going to come and close this particular gap. So again, indecision just for now. I would just wait and see a little bit more. Hopefully what it will do is actually come up higher and close this gap here, which they tend to do. And what this is telling us, we're going to see this price around here again to close this gap. And I suspect it's going to be in maybe the next few weeks at worst. So I'm expecting it back down here. It might happen tomorrow or the day after, or early next week. But I'm reasonably confident that I think it's going to come and close this one here too in a short space. I have to say this has been extremely difficult doing these. And that was CBA. I'm sorry I cannot be any more help to these ones at the moment. But usually, like I said, what actually happens is most times where things get messy, either near the major tops or major bottoms, where there's a lot of pull and throw here. Okay, WBC. Now, on the monthly, look, this is the best rising wedge on this one actually comes where the dotted line is. Let's assume it starts here and goes to there. As you can see, that's still a rising wedge at that point there. I'll just leave the dotted line to represent that because it comes from lower down. Okay. What we do have is an accelerated trend, and that's broken the accelerated trend. But the truth is, this is where the real major support is. Okay, so what we do have is different consolidation levels, and that actually has came down to those and basically bounced off it. Let me just have a look if that's it's really it's not that was there. I think I can remove that altogether from there. I think what we'll do is we'll look at it on the weekly first before we comment on that one. I just need to remove some things first on. Go to weekly. The only thing I can think of here is these things are making a horn again. And again, horns are near major tops. I'll just remove this for a minute. Should I just have a look at that? No. Take it from here. Okay. Again, I think what we're looking at is basically like so, which is really still a horn. It doesn't really give us, again, they're in between moves at the moment, and they haven't given us any clear direction. Have we got a gap? We've got a gap there. So, actually, again, I'm suspecting we're going to see the price come down to up to these areas here before it really does anything. Again, we are inside a horn, and usually horns again occur at the top. So regardless how we can look at this, it's basically a consolidation phase, and I can only suspect we even though we'll have probably a short-term up, but overall we're going to see more of a down there and up. So just wondering if this can actually even form. That's too low. So I wonder if it can actually form a diamond shape, but it doesn't look like it. If this was a lot lower here, then I guess we could have actually considered a diamond pattern, but not at this point, which is again another reversal. But horns, again, generally at top of trends. If the horn is quite small, like if it was say 6, 7, 8 weeks, it can be somewhere in between. But what we're talking about, a horn that actually starts here, and we'll look just to this area here, you're talking 61 weeks at the moment. So again, this is more at a top pattern than a bottom pattern. Going to the daily. Again, we've got the gaps as we said on the weekly. I'll just put there, here, there, and again here. And that's about it. And obviously, this is still coming, trying to close the gap here at the moment. So again, I would bet we're going to see these prices before long, before any major reversal occurs. So I'd watch. If I get to these prices, folks, like I said, I'll take my money. Not personal advice. I'll take my money out. That happens. That's WBC. We got Santos. As we can see on the monthly, we are looking at down based on this pattern, reversal pattern. So again, it's a symmetrical triangle in this case here, and that represents again a top pattern, by the way, and hence this overall is saying we should have lower prices to come from the symmetrical. We can't really add much more on that there at this point. Let's have a look at the weekly. Just remove that. It's invalid now. How many bars is that? Just have a look at the bars. 30 bars, 30 weeks. My goodness. You know, I'm going to almost contradict myself here. I just said that was a reversal, lower prices to come. But the truth is also, which makes it extremely confusing, that's like so. My goodness. Very unusual. This is not confirmed yet, however, okay? However, now it could be there. I'm trying to put it on top of the red line. Or it could be at the body. I don't know yet, okay? I just don't know yet. Now, that's not supposed to be. I'll just better type it in, I think. Okay, this is not confirmed yet, and I cannot stress that enough. Where's the text tool? There. Potentially, oops. This might be an inverse head and shoulder. Now, it's pretty close to that, you can see here, but it might just make it. In fact, if it actually breaks this area, it also could be a head and shoulder, but what it also could be, because this is weekly, it can also be actually double bottom. I can't believe how confusing some of this stuff's getting now. Because originally on the actual pattern, it says on the monthly, it says lower prices to come. Yet on the weekly, this potentially can be a double bottom, head and shoulders. It's pretty close to it that you say maybe it is, maybe it isn't as a head and shoulder, but I have seen it a couple of times in the past. But regardless, that will at least make it a double bottom on the weekly. Now, if that happens, it really's got to break above this point. If it does, then you've got a reversal in your hands. Now, like I said, this market is so confused at the moment. I don't think anybody knows what they want out of it. So I'll just go back to my monthly at the moment. I didn't close that, did I? Oh, shivers. Just 1 second. That was a silly thing I just did. I apologize. I just closed it by mistake. Okay, that was that. And just go to the monthly. Basically, this target is off this area here, measured across to the volatility, and gave us that projection there. But like I said, at the moment, on the weekly, it's saying consolidation, so it's still valid. That's the weird thing. But on the weekly, potentially this could be a double bottom, and if this breaks above that, again, it'll be considered double bottom or a head and shoulder. Really weird. What's on the daily? Okay, that's not valid anymore. I think this is, I was just showing how the zigzag works when you do trend lines. You see all consolidation. Oh, wrong one again. So a huge sideward consolidation. Double bottoms, basically, as long as they occur with some distance apart, which we have a number of months apart, and basically between the two troughs, that can be within plus or minus 5%, okay? And then we'll get the reversal to the upside. Now, because we have consolidated, and if you look on the weekly as we're shown, you can have almost a head and shoulder look. That's why I said it can go on an angle on the upside. But again, on this at the moment, what we can do is take that, the lowest point of the trough there, and we really can't add much more than that. Just so we're consolidating in this area. If it breaks to the downside, it'll be, look, potentially only to about this level here. That's where the support is. Okay. If it breaks to the upside, there's your brick wall. Any real move to the upside, it really's got to go past this point. And again, you can see there's gaps again. So I'm suspicious. I think I'll just try to close these gaps, and then we can have a look at from there. Again, if you're already trading, you're in Santos, you're holding Santos, I would wait for a while. If you're looking to buy it, seriously, I would wait to go past this point on the upside, and I would probably trade it. I would look to trade it to closing these gaps. and I would probably try to get the hell out of there. If you're trading it to the downside, personally, unless you're looking very short term, I would trade it as it breaks below, but only to this point. And if it clearly goes through this bottom here, then I got probably test the previous lows. So that's the only way I can explain how to trade Santos. I hope that's been helpful. IPL. Okay, out of the monthly, last time we did this pattern, it broke to the upside, hit its target. So where does it go from here? So let's have a look. What do we got? Client. Let me just remove the target. Now, we have a little problem here. You can also go like that as a triangle. So in other words, you're really going to have to see what it does for this month before we can say anything about it. Could it be another bullish flag, or could this be a small bearish pennant to target off that to the downside? Let's have a look at it, I think, on the weekly. Let's just clean this up a little bit. In other words, let's wait and see is what we're saying on the monthly. And let's have a look on the weekly. If anything on the weekly, that's what you're looking at. It's still valid. So if this breaks down to the downside, then you're looking at a down move, potentially from here. You'll go to the lowest body, and I'm only estimating down to that area there. Okay, so it has to break below, and if it were to fail, where would it fail? Remember, at the bottom of this pole. 7 times out of 10. I won't say 9, although some statistics suggest that it could be 9, but 7 times out of 10, usually if it fails, it would come to around this level and reverse. But if you get in at the right time here, at least it still gives you enough time to make a little bit of profit regardless. However, if it does work out, you'll be looking at this price. Again, remember, trade what you see. So it's got to break first. Okay, it's got to break first. What's someone said? Someone said head and shoulders STO question mark. I think, like I said, it's really unclean. I keep saying that it's a very dirty head and shoulder. I've seen a couple of them work like that in the past, but it's very rare. It looks like a better double bottom on the weekly than a head and shoulder. However, it's rare. One shoulder to the other can be as little as just a couple of % apart, okay? Between, say, the head and the shoulder. It can be quite a funny angle because remember, there's a lot of them are tails, not wicks, sorry, tails that come to those levels. So I was just reading another comment here, my apologies. Someone says just made the comment basically about Windows dressing the banks for the end of the financial year. I have to say that's true. They do dress for the end of the financial year most times. I used to be in broken, as a lot of you would know, and yeah, I saw things rally up at the end of the financial year, makes the fund managers look good for the end of the financial year. That's true. Okay, that was that. Look, if you can, as you can see, just looking at this on the monthly up there, you can see what we're looking at here. Could it be a bearish flag or can it be overall a bullish flag? There's not enough data to suggest. However, if it does break on the weekly on the downside, we can see where the target could be. But it has to break. Okay. Go into the daily. Conservatively is there. What we're going to have, as you can see, even just from this, is decision time. Okay. Now there is, just go from end here to the end there. There's 30 bars. Okay. So technically, this is an ascending triangle. The name really suggests it really should go up, not down. That's what ascending triangles are. But they can go either way. But the rule says theoretically it really should go up then down. So on a down target, about the height, and second target to there. Now I think that might match 36 to 32, and there's your 36 to that one, down to 35. So you can see it matches the top target on the weekly, basically. Okay, it matches the top target on the weekly. No, 36. No, $3.36.28. We got. Sorry, just double check that. $3. Pretty close. Down to $3.48.36 on the top. So it's pretty close. So if it breaks to the downside, that's what we're looking at. Okay, OSH. I haven't looked at that one before. That really is difficult too again. What is it today? It'd be nice if it was down here, wouldn't it? That would mean more. Okay, so on the monthly, what does it tell us? Well, the truth is, again, why put the line there? Why not put it somewhere else? I mean, why not there and broke there? It went higher, so you keep going till such time it actually fits the profile. The truth is, you don't even know if this is the valid line yet. Why don't we know that? First of all, we got one touch at the bottom and one touch there before a break. Okay. Now, if this rallied back up, if this can go down below this previous low, then it's got a lower low and this line becomes valid. But it's not valid yet. So it's not a validated break yet. At the top, it really doesn't give us much, unfortunately. So all we can go on saying, yep, we assume it's about here. Yeah, this looks about right. If we go to a weekly, it'll look a little bit more right, as you'll see in a minute. Okay, so we can draw this like so. And probably like that. Okay, so that's all we can really do. Okay, there's nothing more we can do. Now, why it becomes a bit more valid, the line that we drawn there, is on a weekly basis, right? So we can say, you know what, that's about right there. Now, you can see this high is higher than that. That high is higher than that. That high is higher than that. This, it came back down. This high is lower than that, and it went below, okay? Which it is considered a double top, okay? This still is considered a double top, and it is within 5%. Okay, so if that's then considered a double top, it validates it, and then you can do your targeting. Now, this is a major consolidation phase, okay? And again, the pattern that we are looking at is a symmetrical triangle, okay? It's unfortunate. Symmetrical triangles usually occur at the top or at the bottom. The problem that we got here, this symmetrical triangle is bigger than this double top, much, much bigger, okay? And we don't know if this is the bottom or is this part of the top just here. That's the truth. We don't know. So what we got to do is really wait and see which way it's going to break. And it's a long way in betweens. All right. So if this breaks to the downside, then we can start targeting down. If it breaks to the upside, we can start targeting to the upside. Let's go and see daily. All we're doing here is, again, drawing that. And probably in here. I'll be drawing that. That's all we can really do. Technically, you can even, just looking at that now, you can even do this. Now, this is valid because we cut the body there, but the body opened up here and closed below it. So it's treated like a wick, okay? So it is validated from that perspective. So what we've got is a major consolidation phase, literally. Again, sorry to say, there really isn't much. Again, trying to home into this even more because this is opened here, not very nice. There's really not much. So again, consolidation in this and looking for a breakout. There's no trade here. There really isn't any trades. I would have been happy to be out of here when it broke below and stay out of it ever since. That would have been me. Unless I was looking to short in some way, and hopefully I might have found something. Just going through the list here. That was OSH. WPL. Probably the same as Santos, no doubt, pretty close. Yeah. These things have been in such consolidation phase for how long now? God, look at it. Nothing on that. I mean, can you clone that? Is it going to do that? Is it a bearish flag? I don't know at the moment. It hasn't broken below to comment on it. Looking at it weekly, we thought it might have been a triangle. And could this be an ascending triangle? If it is ascending, it's suggesting that it really should be going up.
Now, you can't draw a line from there across to there because in order to validate that line, this has got to go lower than this. You need a lower low. So we can't validate it without that. Very, very messy. I mean, you look at it, and this thing's been in this area, God, what, 25 months, more than 2 years, just in this tight area. If you're looking to trade it, it's not a stock. I mean, unless it's paying great dividend, different story that you're happy with. But there's nothing there. You'd be sitting there for God knows how long. It's not something to trade. Again, looking at it from this daily perspective, let's have a look. We originally drawn if it breaks above, potentially you had a target, but did nothing for how long? So all you got on the daily, yeah, right, that's a bit more. Yeah. Huge consolidation phase. Again, this is a huge ascending triangle. I think that's what we said also on the monthly, was it, or the weekly? Here on the weekly, potentially a huge ascending triangle. But again, I think you're going to be there for such a long time. I wouldn't even look to trade it. The only thing about this is if you're getting a decent dividend. So I really can't see anything else in it. Next one, NST. I don't think I ever looked at this one before. We only have 2 touches, okay? Just trying to get the best possible. As you can see, look, technically it can belong there, it can belong there, all right? What we don't know is what's valid as yet. And as you can see, is this a pennant? Again, this is a monthly. What this is saying, it's in this little consolidation in here. If it breaks through the upside, we've got more upside. It looks like it's good, decent support here, so we'll see how we go. Let's look at the weekly. On the weekly, what it seems to be doing is a broadening formation, and it is reasonably powerful because you can't take anything from this height to actually cause any major pattern. All you can do is do what you call a sandwich. Now, a broadening formation, I better, so you can actually see it better. Let me have a look again. So I'll just remove that for 1 second, sandwich. Now, as you can see, the broadening formation, the trend is up. That's a higher high. And what we don't know is what this is going to happen here. So that needs to be resolved first. But primarily, that seems to be supported from here also. Okay, that's basically tops to tops, breakthrough. That's where the problems were, and he eventually got through it. And you can see now it's been supported twice in that area. So from a broad information point of view, you really want to make sure it goes higher than here. However, this is going to be your brick wall also, okay? This high here. So how much more upside it's got, I don't know. However, if this is a pen and it does work out, it's saying there's continuous higher prices to come. Now go into a daily. As you can see, it's a triangle, and again, as long as it breaks in the direction, let's say to the upside, it will confirm the monthly and it will confirm the weekly, and you'll have higher prices to come. If you look at if it breaks to the downside, then you'll be targeting down, and you can see the downside can go all the way down to this trend line here. So it's a reasonable amount. It's a long way down from the way it is to the bottom of the trend line. So I can do 2 targets. It's an estimate. Order size on. And on the downside, because remember, this is all technical, trade what you see, not what you think. There's your downside. Okay. Again, wait and see which way it's going to break. T PMV. Oh, whoever's got this, good luck to you. Okay. There's your major channel. And it's nice to see something that's looking more promising than like so. You can see last bullish flag here. And target off that last bullish flag is from here. It's where it is now. However, the target from this pattern suggests higher prices to come. Okay, so I'd be holding this. It can go higher, obviously off this base, so there'll be a lot more volatility involved, but this has been in a beautiful uptrend, and good luck to you whoever's holding it. And the next one is XLA. Did I type XLA? Yeah. Someone's given me the wrong, this wrong code, I believe. Sorry, folks. Nope. Whoever did that, wrong code. I didn't do a daily on that one, did I? PMV. Whoever sent that one was wrong. Oh, sorry, I didn't do the daily. I only did the weekly. The monthly. My apologies. That was rude of me. I guess I'm just looking at the time at the moment. Look, clone. There's your weekly flag. Oh, what did I do there? GPT. That was the target on the weekly. And on the previous one, just to make sure, that was your flag there, or your pennant even. Okay. Saying higher prices. So, yep, this is still saying higher prices to come. And in fact, if I clone that line, just curious now, where's it going to go? No, it still goes down to there. More higher prices to come. This is what this is saying. Daily. Look. This is just only an accelerated trend, so it doesn't really mean anything. Where are we here? Claim. No, it's just an accelerated trend. There's nothing much on the daily. I mean, if you're looking at the accelerated, but they fail very often, the accelerated trends. Very tight. Because you can't even clone it. No, can't really do much on it. Unless it goes lower. Sorry, I can't do anything on the daily at the moment. This stuff's on the weekly on it. So XLA I cannot do. VLA, I don't know what XLA is. Oh, there's VLA. Oh, VLA. Did we do this? When did we do this one? Must have did it a while ago. Certainly hit its targets. Okay. Well, I can say confidently off the monthly at least, all major targets for the monthly have been met. Okay. There's nothing else I can get off the monthly that could suggest otherwise. Off the weekly, all weekly targets have been met. There's nothing there I can say anymore. Up there. And that's your ceiling also. Daily. Now, there's no real trend on this because there's no higher highs or lower lows on this at the moment on the day-to-day basis. So all you've got, unfortunately, is this. That's about it. So yeah, it can certainly come back here. I have no idea. But all the targets, weekly, monthly, and the original daily, they all have been met. And there's nothing you can really add to it. Yep, absolutely nothing. I really cannot do anything else on that one. There's one more stock, and that's Telstra. And then I'll do the Aussie dollar and the euro. Well, just we can clean this up a little bit, but primarily, I'll just do it again actually, just 1 second. You can actually draw it like that too. Clone. Okay. As we can see, the monthly target for Telstra was met. Okay. There was really nothing more than that left. Even now, at the moment, there's not really a whole heap of upside on it, other than probably the previous high if you're lucky. Monthly doesn't really give us any more than that. The weekly, we originally had support, broke below the support. We could have finessed this a little bit too. I can actually go to the body, and we can actually go to that body, and then it's still valid because you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. Okay, so I would delete that now, and I would do that. Okay, it's showing that it's breaking above to a higher price, but it really is not very, very clean, and its best potential or short term is basically that. Okay, now very small upside. What I can see here at the moment, there's nothing, unless we get another, like a bullish flag or something to say higher, by all means, but there's nothing there at the moment. Going to the daily, again, let's just clean this up a little bit. And extend that. That's what we were looking at before, and go click, click, click. There's your, as we did on the actual monthly. Again, to confirm to higher prices, we really need more of a bullish flag here on the daily or the weekly. And looking at this, you might be trying to close this from here. If we have a look, close the gap. Look at that, inside the gap line. So, but I really can't see it beyond that. That's the daily chart. Okay, let's have a look at the Aussie dollar. We've gone a bit overtime, folks. Where normally I say to an hour and 90 minutes, where from the time we started, probably an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes. I'll do the Aussie dollar and the Euro Aussie dollar, and we'll go call it quits from there. Okay, monthly. As we said in the last webinar that we ran, major consolidation. Why? Major bottom, major trend bottom, everything consolidated in that spot. Okay, and everything that we said it can run up to, if you remember, we said up to 82 odd cents, and sure enough, it did, all the way to here. It was just under 82, because that's what the trend was. When we spoke, it was probably about a month and a bit earlier than that, and it was high on the line, as you can see. That was at the 82 point mark. That's where it was. As time progressed, the line's getting lower and lower, and last month we ran to around 81.7. So pretty much consolidating in that phase and still there. I think what you're going to see is a lot more consolidation, basically. Let's have a look on the weekly just to see it a bit more clearly. And as we can see on a weekly, this could be a good double bottom, by the way. What we want to see is basically, I would draw the line more like in here, which is underneath this body, and there's your consolidation phase, just in this section here. If he if it does break, it really's got to break well and surely below here. And I think it's a bit difficult the way things are. However, this is a good trading area now if you're looking at intraday data. If you go to the daily, that really widened everything up. And this is why we said originally up to 82, but that trend, as we said, was coming down. It just came short of it, shy of it there. And again, as we said, consolidation. Okay, there's your consolidation phase. And maybe from here, it's starting to sort of trend up to the upside. There really isn't much more you can really add on the daily other than this consolidation phase. Let's maybe have a look at an intraday one, just to have a look at, maybe just switch over this to an intraday chart. Where's that so condensed actually down? 60, 180. I don't have that much data. Oh, what's going on? I'm getting more data, but didn't have that much data on this one. This is a 180 chart. There really isn't much you can do. It's consolidating 180. There's nothing you can do till you probably look at it tomorrow at the moment. Unless you drop it down. Actually, let's go the other way. We did 60. Back to 60. I might actually go to 30. Hey, let's have a look at there. No good there. Let's just clone that. No good there. I think to get a trade on this one here, we can do a couple of things. You'll have to wait, of course, but primarily it can go as high as that, or it can trade as, this is just an estimate, as low as that, based which way it's going to break. So there's not a huge amount of pippage in this one, unfortunately, but there's a short trade coming, or a long trade, a short-term trade coming, rather than a short-term trade coming, probably in the next, let's have a look, roughly, probably 10, probably in the next 2-3, probably 3 hours. There's a short-term trade coming. But again, you're talking about 77.5 up to, it's only about 30 pip to the upside, and probably about 30 pip to the downside, or thereabouts. So it's not a lot in it, unfortunately. So I'll leave it at that. There's not much on the Aussie dollar at the moment. I'll go and have a look at the Euro Aussie dollar.
Now, because I had a problem when I started earlier today, literally, like I said, Citrix had originally crashed on me. And unfortunately, because of that, I have to convert the file to WMV before I upload it to YouTube, not MP format. Now, generally speaking, most of my files are MP format, with the exception, I had some issues with the previous 2 webinars that we did that we had no sound. And what Citrix discovered, if the Citrix system crashes in some way, it doesn't process MP formats very well. Hence, my sound got stuffed. But the original sound that it was recorded was fine. And purely by a fluke, they discovered that by converting it to WMV, I get my sound back. And that's what we've done with the previous 2 webinars. We reconverted them to WMV and we got the sound up, folks. So it does take longer to process. That's the only thing. So I'll try to have it all up and running today. I'm sure I will, but it might take about 1.5 to 2 hours longer than normal. Okay, so and it'll be up online for anyone to play this back. Okay, now looking at the Euro Aussie dollar, as we can see, look, it's been in consolidation. This is monthly. Look, it's been in consolidation for quite a while. It is at the top end of things. You really can't. This doesn't give us any more than that, basically. And so let's go and look at the weekly. And we can see by the weekly we are at the top end of things, okay? This, in fact, now, this line there is a little bit invalid now, really. Let's just get rid of it. Oops, where's my eraser? And the bottom one's probably invalid. So that's where it really is, okay? We are at the top. What can we do? If it breaks on the upside, then yes, sure, we've got higher prices to go. Now, the thing is, can this be a flag? It might be. The truth is, I don't know. But if it breaks to the upside, you really want to see it break above this line, not the slightly below line. Has it hit a target? Absolutely. Now, where's the target, you might ask? It's just here. Really, it's a pennant. I could have drawn the lines a touch a little bit better than that, but anyway, it is. Okay. The target was really from here to there to there. And again, you only trade to this line. Okay. So we go to daily. Remember, it's the top here. Okay, so that comes, if we squash this up, which what's going on? Wrong one. Squash it up. It really is like that, isn't it? There should be another one, I think, from memory. It's even higher. No, that's the one. Just better presented on the other one. Take that back. Just have a look at that for a minute. That was that. This goes back 2014. And it's back to 2014, that's fine. And where we are now, I'll just remove this line first. How many bars have we got here? $11, $12, probably 12 bars. Okay, so that's still acceptable. But this is your brick wall. Okay, if you're going to trade, that's where you have to stop, unless it really penetrated very strongly through. This doesn't belong there anymore. And
there and clone basically that. So you are inside a channel, and any up, move, or break this, you're only looking at this point. Now let's go a bit further. Let's go down to intraday. This is down to 30 minutes. Doesn't look to crash on 30, does it? And look, I can say this: if this, whatever way it breaks, it should be a pretty good trade. All right. If it breaks on the upside, there's your upside target. If it breaks, excuse me, to the downside, got a size on. There's your downside target. So either way, you're looking at a decent trade. Just got to be a little bit more patient, let it set itself up, and go from there. Well, folks, that is the lot. I've pretty much looking at all these things. I did do Telstra, didn't I? TLS. I've got a blank now. Go back to daily. Yeah, we did do Telstra. We did do Telstra. God, I thought I left it out for a moment. Didn't tick it off my list. You lose sight of these things when you're doing this. So we've gone way over time. In fact, we're pretty much an hour and 50 odd minutes in this webinar, so it's pretty long. Thought I'd just help and make up from the unfortunate circumstance of the last one due to my computer problems. I hope everybody got something out of it. I know it's been a pretty difficult thing to analyse, and truthfully, when I see things like that, I just stay out. If it doesn't look good, don't trade it. It only looks as good as it is. If it looks good enough, you can trade it. All right, it's only as good as it looks. If it doesn't look good, leave it alone. And what we can see, a lot of uncertainty. Generally, when there's uncertainty, we're either at major tops or major bottoms. Now, the market's been going up, so we're at major tops. Okay, so is it going to go wham down? The truth is, I don't know. It might go sideways for God knows how long. Who knows? But if you're looking for stocks to trade, you're going to have to be very, very picky. All right, that's the way it is. Choose the opportunities. Don't say, oh, it's about good enough, so I think I'll take it. All right. So I hope this webinar has been extremely helpful, and I look forward to the next one. Just remember, just email me all your instruments well and truly before. Makes life a lot easier. I tend to update the charts, all the data there is, so they can be nice and quick. All right. Thank you very much. God bless, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.